Hello everyone. I welcome you all to ATM Creations and I welcome you all to this day 19 dot mandala challenge. Let's begin. Let me begin with today's sharing of story. Today, I want to talk about decision making and what challenges I faced when I made a decision for myself, and how did I overcome those criticisms that I received for the decision I made, whether I regret my decision or am I enjoying my decision, is what I'm going to share with you all about. I was working for Wipro Technologies in their e-learning division, which means for all the applications that Wipro develops, our division prepares e-learning modules to educate the clients about how to use the application. That was our division's job majorly, and I was leading a team of instructional designers there. Instructional designing means a methodology or a set of tools that we use to design a curriculum and some learning modules. So that was my job. As I told you in one of the previous videos that I left my children in daycare, and my elder son had started going to school. So he was in pre-primary 1, that is pre-KG, that's how it's called. And my younger one used to be too small. He was too small to start school, so he was in that daycare itself. And what happened was, I was leading a team, and for many people, they don't understand. They think that only software developer team is too busy. And not many can understand even the e-learning division can be too busy. But our team was one of the busiest, stressed out teams in that office. And all of a sudden, when I used to be too busy at work, reviewing my team's work or submitting some report to the client, or in a meeting with team and my boss, suddenly there comes a call from daycare saying Krishna is not well and Sri Ram is not well, so please come and pick them up, because it's all children here, so the infection shouldn't spread from one child to another. So their concern is absolutely right. So leaving everything at work as it is, I have to run back from office to daycare. Daycare used to be very close to my home, and I used to come, pick them up, go to doctor, take care of them, take couple of days leave. Work from home was not an option at all at that time. I used to take leave. And for the kids who were too small at that time, 2 to 3 days of being with mom 24 bar 7 was a dream come true. Whether I have taken leave or it's an official holiday, I make sure I spend my time at home entirely with kids and make sure I give all my attention towards the kids. One reason being, I was feeling guilty of not spending enough time with kids when I was at work. So, this is what I did. Whenever I was with kids, I spent a lot of time with them. So, after 2 to 3 days of royal pampering, if they have to go back to daycare and I have to go back to work, it was painful for me and for the kids, both. So though I was happy that I'm earning and providing for the family's finances, I was internally feeling guilty. The motherly instinct always was at work. At one point of time, what I felt was my children were falling sick quite often. I didn't know why, because I make sure I cook hygienic food and I only give homemade food, because we entirely avoided eating out. But someone will have diarrhea, or suddenly someone will start vomiting, and they will develop cough, cold, and sometimes no cough, no cold, no fever, but they would be non-stop crying. And it was at that point of time I started thinking about quitting my job and being with kids. If not me, then who else? So I was contemplating the decision of quitting, never told anyone. I didn't seek permission from anyone. And of course, my husband knows it. And there were few other reasons which also stacked up. I couldn't continue working. So there came a situation when I had to quit my job. So at one point of time, I decided to quit, and I have put down my papers, served 2 months of notice as per whatever rules that is required, and I started being with kids at home. For the first 2 to 3 months, I thoroughly enjoyed being with kids and at home, but after that, I slowly started feeling irritated, and that's because I was not feeling I'm utilizing my potential at all. So that's why that negative emotions started creeping into my mind, and I didn't know what to do. Of course, to children, I was thoroughly enjoying, but my mental health was not okay at all. And the poor mental health reflected in my poor physical health too. And I went through a lot of troubles because of that. Few things cannot be explained, but it was hell a lot of troubles that I went through. It's not about poor finances because I left my job. It's a lot of other things that I went through because of that. So one part of my mind was saying, no, Radha, your decision is right, that you decided to quit and spend quality time with your children. There was other part of my mind that was saying, you must have continued the job, Radha, you did a blunder. So these two were in total contradiction to each other. And that created more damages than anything else. For kids, it was like a dream come true. Mom is always there. When they go to school, I'm there to send them off. And when they come back, I'm there to receive them, to feed them, to help them sleep. And for all their naughty stuff, I was thoroughly enjoying. I'm a kind of a person who doesn't get irritated because kids are naughty. Kids are supposed to be naughtier, so I allow my kids to be naughty. So they loved me like anything. So that's how I was not sure whether I'm just getting irritated or regretting my decision. I was unsure. However, I decided to continue with my decision of not going back to a 9 to 5 job. I was like, anyway, it is me who took a decision. Let me stand by my decision. If I don't do it, nobody else is going to do it for me. So I firmly decided to stand by my decision. There were a lot of people who criticized me for quitting the lucrative job and sitting at home. And what was going on in my mind is, having lost one child and two more healthy kids, I really wanted to take care of my children. And all those who criticized or gave opinions, advices, they don't know the pain of losing a child. When people criticize, they always think only from their point of view, which is why they are criticizing. Otherwise, people wouldn't be criticizing at all. And people who criticized me also were no exception. They thought through things only from their point of view. They failed to look at things from my point of view. And whenever I received criticisms for quitting job, I thought, fine, let them criticize. They have not gone through what I have gone through. So that's okay. And I was also thinking, let them not go through at all, because I don't want them to know what my pain is. That's really painful. So I didn't care about what people said. I continued being at home, and slowly the regret feeling about quitting job started going away, and I started thoroughly enjoying being with my kids. Now, it is at that point of time I was gifted a book. It was written by Brian Tracy, and the title of the book was Goals: How to Get Anything Faster Than You Ever Imagine. That's the title of the book. So I became a stay at home mom, and my younger one also started going to school. So between 9 and 1, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., I was free. Nobody was there at home, and I had a lot of time to spend for myself. And I thoroughly enjoyed that time as well. That's my time, kind of. And I thought, okay, why not I read something positive? So I started reading the book. I felt so inspired by that book. There were a lot of principles of how to set goals, how to achieve them. And after finishing that book once, I felt like reading it again. So I read that book entirely from first page to last page thrice, three times. Before I implemented anything from the book, I had read the book thrice. So I was so obsessed with all the principles and suggestions that were there in that book. And looks like I slept with those ideas from the book. So suddenly, one fine morning, when I woke up after a good sleep, I was having an idea, why not I do these things as training programs? Yes, somehow I felt not many people read these books and implement all of them. I mean, all of the ideas and suggestions given in the book. So I thought I can do it as a training program. And now comes the next challenge. Who is going to hire me as a trainer? I have no qualifications to be a trainer, but I have all the qualifications to be in an IT company. So, what I did was, okay, but when I'm going to do training programs, if I'm going to talk something theoretically, it's not going to be effective. I need to talk from my own experience. That is when it's going to be effective. So, if I have to talk from my own experience, I need to put the principles that is laid down in the book. I must practice all of them. I must put all those principles into actions in my own life first, and then see what challenges am I going through, overcome those challenges, and then speak to people with my experience. And my mom used to say, it seems right from my childhood, I used to give free advices to people. So she always believed that I am a good teacher. That's what she believed, and that is what is happening right now too. So my mom's belief did not go waste. And she tells me even today, I told you you will become a good teacher. See, that's what you're doing. So my prediction for your life is right. That's what she says even now whenever I meet her. The very first training program that I got an opportunity was with a company called Logitech, and I projected myself as a person who is 10 years experienced in training. I didn't want to offer my wisdom for free. I wanted to charge them, and I did charge them. But the challenge that I faced was that I was in Bangalore, and the program was happening at Chennai, and I have to travel again, being away from kids. And the problem was my husband doesn't know how to cook. And in the name of taking care of children, I only realized I did everything for them. I never allowed them to do it themselves. And the boys, this is only my personal opinion, maybe I'm wrong, but boys, they are by birth independent, but they act like being totally dependent on moms. And my children were no exception. So the challenge was not to travel and do training programs. So the challenge was to um, teach cooking for my husband and to make my children independent. So teaching cooking to my husband was not a challenge. He was willing to learn, so he learned. He started cooking, making my children independent. Trust me, if at all till date, if you ask me, this Limca Book of Records was not a phenomenal thing that I've done. Making my children independent was the phenomenal thing I have ever done in my life. Okay? And especially my elder was very cooperative. My younger, oh my goodness. You know what my younger does? He says, Amma, see, my little hands could not reach my toes, so how will I wear my shoes for school? So why don't you help me wear my shoes? I said, oh, you couldn't even bend down and reach your toes, is it? Okay. Then go to school barefoot. Go get royally beaten up by your teacher. So the technique that I followed was I did not teach them or advise them. See, Krishna, Sri Ram, it's very important to be independent, and being independent only will help. Oh, these advices doesn't work. Nobody likes to be advised, okay? Even as we adults, we don't like to be advised. Now pause the video and tell me, do you love to be advised? So, how did I teach my children to be independent? I just withdrew myself from doing things for them. Initially, they looked at me like a Hitler, but I don't regret those decisions, small decisions I made. Once they started doing things themselves, they started enjoying being independent, and that is when they understood, okay, being independent is important. So that was the challenging part. So I made my children independent. I made my husband independent because he knows cook. He knows how to cook. and things were slowly falling in place. You know, it's not easy for a woman to be extremely outgoing, you know. So I had my set of challenges, and these were some of the challenges that I'm able to share in a public forum, and I'm sharing. There were a lot of other challenges too. So I started traveling, started doing training programs, and the first program that I got with Logitech, they were all senior management people, not even middle management. So I started with corporate programs. That's how my training program journey started. Um, I did my program really well. That's how I look at it. And the program was successful. I was paid. All that happened. And but I was not enjoying the training program I was doing for corporate sector. The reason being, people who attended my programs in corporate sector were all um, somehow 50 plus, when I was not even, I was in my early 30s. So when I was doing corporate programs, let's say if 20 people attended my program, two of them were so open minded, so they received things well, but the other 18 had lot of problems with me, because for them it is like, who is this little girl to come and teach me, kind of an attitude. So I also found it quite uncomfortable, because when you know you're standing in front of people and they don't feel comfortable with you, and they show it so apparently on their faces, it feels so awkward. So I decided to change my target segment from corporate to children. I mean, it can be colleges and universities too. So I changed my target segment, and I did a small assignment with one of the agricultural university in Tamil Nadu. And from then onwards, there's no looking back. I continued my journey of doing training programs. And in the process of doing training programs, I could travel to a lot of places which otherwise I wouldn't have traveled at all. Got to meet a lot of people, met them face to face, and in the process, I gained a lot of friends and guides to my life. There are few people with whom I still stay in touch on a daily basis. I was doing really well with my newfound interest of traveling and doing training programs. I got a lot of opportunities, and there were a lot of emotional moments with the students whom I addressed, to the extent that I have got some students who call me Ma, and I get good morning messages from them every single day for the last close to 10 years now. The students who were in college, they got jobs, they got married, they have children, and they still choose to stay in touch with me. Anything that is of profound importance, that happens in students' life, students used to share with me. Isn't that a big privilege that I have received? That people are willing to share what is happening with their lives. According to me, that's a huge blessing. That's a huge blessing, which not many understand. And according to me, this is a privilege that I have, which not many have. Being able to do what you really love doing, and if you can also monetize it and earn through it, nothing like it. So, people who criticized me for quitting the IT sector started appreciating me now. When I didn't care their criticisms, I didn't fall prey for their appreciations too. And in between, if you ask if my journey was smooth, no, it was filled with lot of challenges, obstacles, negativities, my own self-doubt and fear. So I had to overcome a bunch of things to reach where I am today. Let me tell you one such challenge, okay? I told you I used to travel to a lot of places and do training programs, and sometimes the training dates and my monthly phenomenal dates they pakka sync with each other, and that's a big issue that I need to handle because my training programs are normally from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. 8 hours with no sitting in between except for the lunchtime that is around half an hour. And in every college that I had done training programs, organizers were 99% men. And if I know that the training dates are going to be in sync with my monthly phenomenal dates, I used to ask them, fix up a venue that is closer to the washroom. And then those men, I don't know if they really don't understand or they act like not understanding. They said, why would you need washroom closer to the classroom, madam? I don't explain them, okay? I only tell them I can come to the program only if that is there, otherwise I'm not coming. And then they make sure things are arranged. In very few places, men were sensitive to needs of women. Not everywhere. I'll share one more incident shortly. So in one of the institution, I was invited for the training program, and I really do not know why. The organizer was obviously a man. He was a professor in that same college, and a bunch of students. When I say bunch, it was a huge bunch of students, 300 plus, somewhere between 300 to 350, and I need to handle that crowd in one go. Second year students, and for some reason he had so much of irritation towards me, because when I go to a particular place to do training programs, it is the organizer who is supposed to receive me from airport, railway station, or bus, or in whichever mode I am traveling, and he is supposed to make sure my travel and stay is all comfortable, if the food is being served on time. So he's the one who is supposed to take care of all that. And this particular organizer did not like, uh, doing all that to a woman. So this gender played a major role, but he had to do it, no option. So I could see his displeasure apparently on his face. And at one point of time, he was a little rude, and I told him, see, if you continue to be like this, I have to report you to the management. I have no other option. So he stopped himself showing that displeasure on his face, and he was unwillingly but forcibly doing things for me. Probably he was looking for options to give troubles. So what happened was, there used to be inaugural session to a formal inaugural session to such programs, because that was a program which I had planned for 3 days. 3 days of soft skills training program to those second year students, let's say 300 students. I don't want to name the place or college or university, but let me just narrate the situation alone. I told the college management that I need help to handle such a big crowd, and the management said, this coordinator will be there with you, ma'am. Don't worry, in case of any problem, you can handle. I said okay, but after the inaugural session, this coordinator said, I have a very important work. I cannot stay here. You enjoy with the students. So he thought I'm going to be having a tough time with the students, but the reality was different. You know what that coordinator did? He said there is a family emergency and he left out of town, thinking that I am going to be suffering for the next 2 3 days. But God is with me only, no? And I understood that the situation that I was into, and I turned for help towards the students. Trust me, every single thing was done by the students for me during those 3 days, and me and students had amazing time of sharing with each other. And there are few students from that batch, and this happened some 5 6 years ago. So there are students from that batch who are still in touch with me on a daily basis. And by third day evening, we were supposed to have a concluding session, and this organizer came like a good boy to that concluding session. expecting some disasters to have happened. But to his surprise, everything was amazing. Everything happened wonderfully well, very smooth. And like a nice man in front of the management, he asked, "I'm so sorry, madam, that I had to go out for an emergency work. But how did you manage these 3 days?" I said, "God is with me in the form of students. They did help." Trust me, college students are not difficult to handle. It all depends on how you communicate with them and how you connect with them. Thankfully, the ability with me to connect with such students is good. I'm not trying to boast myself here, but that's a God given ability. I can connect with students so easily, and I never had any tough time in any of the colleges I have handled students with. So, like this, there were a lot of stories to share. I don't think I would be able to share all of them, but these are some of the challenges as a woman I had to face when I go out. Not every man understood that I'm quite enterprising, but there were, yes, men who treated women so differently were there. But my experiences, I came across a lot of men who were willing to help me with what I needed without expecting anything in return. And I am in touch with them till date on a daily basis. So, people who criticize me for quitting the job, there were some people who even called me as a fool to have quit Wipro. I don't respond to such people, but the amount of life experiences I gained out of my decision, I wouldn't have learned all of these in any of the courses that anybody would offer. You need to take your decision, you need to stick to your decision, you need to make things happen, experience those challenges, overcome the challenges, and learn. So, what I'm trying to tell you all is, if at all there is any such important decisions that you need to make in your life, and you have a whole lot of fear about taking those decisions, trust me, I believe this principle. What you fear the most about doing is what you need to do first. And if you ask me, have I not made any wrong decisions in life? Have I always been making right decisions? No, the answer is no. I have made some terrible, horrible decisions. And yes, they did backfire at me so badly. And that's how I learned about decision making. And those wrong decisions that I made, of course, yes, it was extremely difficult for me to go through the effects of those wrong decisions, but the learning that I have got through them is immense. That made me more stronger. Now I'm a kind of a person, I wouldn't be shaken by any criticisms that comes towards me for any reason. Sometimes I look at it as being stronger. There are few people who look at it as she's heartless, she's not a human, she doesn't like smell of human beings. For all those, I don't know, if I had been an earlier person, I would have been so much bothered about those comments. But now, no. So these days, I have built a lot of immunity towards criticisms. You say anything, you can even tell me that, Radha, you are a fool. That doesn't bother me. I don't get angry. I seriously don't get angry. I would feel pity for the person who says that, because there is a truth. You know, we see the world as how we are. So if someone says that I am a fool, I'm sure all of you know what I mean by now. We always see the world as how we are, not as how it really is. There are a lot of tough decisions as a woman I have to make, drawing a border of how people treat you. And as long as you allow people to take you for granted, they will see you as a loving and a very good person. So the moment you draw a border, people are going to look at you as a rude, unloving, a person with lot of head weight. So if none of you have gone through that, great. But if you are going to take some important decisions, go ahead and take it, and be aware these kind of labels will come to you, that you are not a great human being, not a human being at all. Forget about being great human being, not a human being at all. You don't know what love means. You have lot of head weight. You are a rude person. You are an unloving person. So you have to go through all that. And you know what? Initially, it may bother you, but you will develop a lot of immunity, and that immunity will help you and take you a long way in your life. So, by taking the decision of quitting my job and doing what I love doing, have taught me tremendous amount of lessons. So, in my case, this one decision of quitting corporate and being on my own had been an amazing decision that I have taken, and I have no regrets. Initially, I thought I'm going to regret the decision, but no, I'm thoroughly enjoying the decision. Just imagine, if I had not taken that decision, I would not be making this video and be sharing the story with all of you. And looking at reading through all of your comments, I'm understanding that I'm doing something good to each and every one of you, and I'm truly happy about it. Now, a lot of you were either in the group or in the comments saying thank you, whereas the fact is, I should be thanking you for being so, how do I say it? For receiving the message really well. So, for those who feel gratitude by listening to all these messages, it only means all of you are so open minded to listen to good things from whomever it is. And that's an amazing attitude that really helps to be successful in life. I just remembered one such incident in one of the college. I was supposed to do a 6 day training program for them, which if it had started on Monday, I would have finished it on Saturday. But I started only on Thursday, so it was supposed to finish on Wednesday. So, in between Sunday was a holiday, and the college had a guest house. I was staying in the guest house. Of course, food was there, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and if I wanted any snack or tea in between, if I tell them, they are going to bring it. So, nothing was a problem. So, in one such situation, one of the student who was going through my program, he called me and asked, "Ma'am, I stay in the same town only. My home is very close to the college. If you allow me, I will bring food from home." I said, "Yes, you can bring, but I am a vegetarian. I eat only that." He said, "I know that, madam. I will bring only vegetarian food. Don't worry, we are vegetarians too, so do not worry about it. I know how to cook. I have learned cooking. So, Sunday, I am going to cook for my entire family and I will pack and bring food for you too." So that Sunday, when I was sitting all alone in the guest house, the student comes with a full meal. Oh my goodness, I could not finish the food. I had to share it with people who work in that guest house to that extent. It was such an amazing food. It's not about the food that I ate that particular day. What made that student bring the food to me? Somehow I had created some positive impact in that student's mind, which made him to think for me and bring that food to me. So, the point that I'm trying to make here is if you have any important decisions in life which you think is right for you, please go ahead and take that decision. Trust me, the decisions that you take today may not be rewarding today itself, but sometime later it will turn out to be rewarding. So please go ahead and take your decision. And if you have already taken such decisions and have enjoyed the rewards point of it, please do share in the comment section on what kind of decision you take and how did you overcome the challenges and enjoy the benefits. It will definitely inspire the entire world who are going to watch this video. Here we have completed this mandala for today's challenge. Now go ahead, recreate it, share it with me.